Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, Alex Rodriguez, known as A-Rod, was for a long time considered to be the best player in baseball. He played shortstop, first for the Seattle Mariners and then for the Texas Rangers, and then came the big deal that sent him to the New York Yankees. He's had multiple All-Star Game appearances. He has great stats, and he's won a lot of awards during what can only be called a stellar career. He has, however, been for the most part a flop in the postseason. He did have one good postseason in 2009, but every other time he failed to live up to expectations miserably. It even earned him the unofficial nickname A-Fraud. In 2007, Jose Canseco accused him and various other players of taking performance-enhancing drugs, which he vehemently denied. He did interviews, one of them was with Katie Couric and all that, and just denied. No, he was perfectly clean. But then in 2009, Sports Illustrated revealed that Rodriguez had failed 2 drug tests in 2003. Now at that time, there was no agreement on drug testing between the Players Union and Major League Baseball. The 2003 test was just a survey, and it was supposed to be kept confidential, so it was wrong that it came out that he had failed the drug test. But since there was no agreement about punishment or any of that between the Players Union and Major League Baseball, Rodriguez was never suspended for performance-enhancing drugs. He did admit, when the jig was up, that he had used PEDs from 2001 to 2003, but denied their use after that. Then in 2010, the New York Times reported that Rodriguez had been treated in 2009 by Dr. Anthony Galea, who has been convicted of importing banned substances into the United States. Both A-Rod and Galea deny that PEDs were used in his treatment, but it looks hinky. Then it was reported in 2012 that A-Rod had received HGH from an anti-aging clinic called Biogenesis. Now, HGH can only be detected by blood tests, and baseball was only taking urine tests, so there was no way of him failing a drug test when it came to that. But Major League Baseball got a whole lot of information from Biogenesis. They got a lot of paper information, and they also interviewed the people involved. And Major League Baseball says that Rodriguez tried to obstruct the investigation. Now, when baseball completed its investigation, 13 players, including Rodriguez, were suspended for varying amounts of games. Some people got 50 games, some people got 100 games. Rodriguez got 211 games. But it wasn't just because of continued use of performance-enhancing drugs. It was also because of trying to obstruct the investigation. Major League Baseball invoked the clause that Rodriguez was not acting in the best interests of the game. Now, the other 12 players who were suspended all accepted their suspensions without protest. Rodriguez was the only one to fight the suspension. He appealed, and was allowed to play while the appeal was pending. So Rodriguez played last season while all the other players involved in biogenesis scandals sat out. Last week, a hearing on Rodriguez's appeal was held. This was his chance to clear his name, to testify in his own behalf. But the problem was he was going to have to testify under oath. So Rodriguez pulled a stunt. He stormed out of the hearing. He said it was because Major League Baseball Commissioner Rod Selig was not compelled to testify. Bud Selig was not compelled to testify. The person who testified was Rob Manfred, the official Major League Baseball delegate to the arbitration process. He's testified in all the other appeals that Major League Baseball does. Bud Selig has never testified. So the tantrum that A-Rod pulled was purely an act. He knew beforehand that Manfred was going to testify. He knew before that Selig has never testified in an arbitration hearing. And the agreement between Major League Baseball and the Players Union states that neither the player nor the commissioner can be compelled to testify at an arbitration hearing. So Rodriguez said that this was unfair and that the hearing was biased, and he stormed out. But it was fully in compliance with the rules that both the union and baseball had appealed with. So what was the point of A-Rod's histrionics? It was obviously to avoid testifying under oath. I'm sure that the folks at Major League Baseball came armed with a whole lot of things to ask Rodriguez that he would prefer not to answer. So by storming out, he was then free to go on the sports talk radio shows and proclaim his innocence. So let me just take a second and talk to Rodriguez here. Dude, nobody is buying your bullshit. You can have all the press conferences you want. It doesn't take the place of testimony under oath. You had the chance to defend yourself, and you didn't because you knew they had the goods on you. So stop denying. Stop talking about your place in history. Yes, you will be remembered. You will be remembered as a fraud and a liar. And despite your statistics and all that other stuff, that's the only thing you will be remembered for. Thanks for listening.